Today I'm going to show you how to do the very viral pixel shift trend. Let's jump in. So I've got an example on screen here. You can take a look showing the general idea of what we're going to do. You're going to take one of your images. We're going to pull the main subject out of it that the pixels are stretching from or behind, and I'll show you the steps on how to make that work. I used an example of a Air Force F-16 that I saw at an air show here in Ontario about a year ago. Great shot. I think it works really well with vehicles. So yeah, we're going to use an image today of that, and then I'm going to show you with a landscape and show you some examples of just some other things you can do. Here is the original image of the F-16 that I shot. You can see it's pretty sharp. Nice subject separation from the background, which is the clouds. So we have our picture here. It's actually easier to select them when the pixels are either horizontal or vertical. So I'm actually going to rotate this image, and then we could always rotate it at the end back if we want to. Step one is really getting the subject and creating a duplicate of that. So once I have selected, I'm going to hit Control J. I think it's Command J on the other operating system version. So we have our jet and label it jet. So what we're going to do is select a group of pixels. Some people say make the row 1 pixel. You don't need to. It just needs to be a thin box. I have my selection here. Can hit Control Z. So this is the pixels. They are going to get stretched. So it's behind the jet here. The reason we have the object behind is if we're stretching pixels, you can see the object is always in front. So as we stretch it, it isn't going to blend the whole tail of the jet into the image. I've seen some other people do that. I don't love it. In case you don't know what I mean, for example, some people are just stretching it like this, but you see how I have the tail in front. If you don't duplicate the object, it would cover it, which I don't love. I suppose if you're going with an effect, you could potentially, in this case, maybe mask the tail and the afterburner here, make the pixels look like it's coming from sort of right off the tails, which is kind of cool. We can try that at the end if you want to see what that would look like. But right now, we're just going to keep this simple. Just going to stretch the pixels. So you would pick the little point there, hit Control, and drag it. Once you've dragged it, what we'll do is look at the warp button at the top here, so you can switch between free transform and warp modes. Now what warp does is it allows you to actually change the shape of this pixel stretch, which is probably what you've seen and really makes the actual creative look of this stuff. I did play with this earlier and I got a really cool version where I rotated this. So I'm going to show you a similar effect here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the tail portion of this and we're going to just whip it up. So you might notice that there's this little tail piece that kind of comes off the corners. That controls the angle and stretch of the curve, so you can really play around with that to get some cool other stuff. So in this case, we're going to make it look like the plane did a little bit of a rotation midair. So I'm going to take both corners and then I'm going to reverse them. So I took what would have been the bottom corner here, stretched it to the top, took the other corner that was the top and stretched it to the bottom. So you can see it did this little bit of a crossover pattern, which is really cool. Love the colors coming off this. So lots of reds, blues, and oranges. Awesome. So we'll hit save there, keep it really basic. The essence of the pixel stretch is right there. So what we did was we cloned the top subject, I copied a little column of pixels and then stretched it. And then we selected the warp button and we played with it. Now, if you wanted to warp it further, we can select it, hit Control T, the transform button, hit warp again, and then you can further do some more warping if you want to, in case you want to, maybe you're not happy with it. Now, what you could do is what we were talking about earlier. You could additionally say add a mask. So that's the little button here. And if you've never tried masks before, basically with black and white, it shows what is or isn't in focus. So by default, white shows everything in focus. So I have black brush selected. What we're going to do is just paint over the wing there. Change the brush size because it's too much. I'm just going to do a quick job just to show you the idea of what I'm talking about. So yeah, we have that. Oops. Here we go. So we're going to leave the afterburner there. Cool. So now it looks like it's the tail of the plane that basically was. We need a little more orange there to make that make sense. No, I think that looks good there with the same natural afterburner. Okay, so that's the tail section. To do the front here, I'm just gonna hide the plane. So if we didn't use the object as its own layer, you might notice that it would have blended the back of the plane. So I think it just looks better when you actually have a hard line there. Anyway, you can play with that. You don't necessarily have to have it as a separate layer, but I definitely recommend it because then if you're trying to manipulate it, it's easier if it's its own layer. So going back to this, we're going to select another section here. Now, a little cheat that I've seen some other people do, they actually just import the colors they like. So this black, white, and red here looks really great. So I'm actually just going to copy that. Control J. So this is the front pixels. All right. So we have that. We're going to reverse it. So I did a little flip. I'm going to put it in front now. Okay. Now we're ready to stretch it. So for those of you who remember, what we do, we hit Control, select the front, and stretch. Once we have it stretched out, again, hit the warp. And now the warp tool, we're going to make it look like it pulled up very drastically. Now we can play with these tools here, like I said, that controls the angle, and if you have a lot of different colors, you can stretch it differently, so you can get different coloring to show up. So this again controls the angle, so you can see here if it's close to the point, it looks like the arc is close to there. Otherwise we can push it out further, so you don't want to push too much, might look a little funny, but you can get some good angles there. Like I said, if you want to make it look like it's crossing over, you take the bottom piece. Oops. We take the bottom piece there, hold Alt, and then we stretch it past that, so you can see it looks like it did a little turn over there. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I think that looks good. Don't want to make it look too complicated. I think that looks really good. A lot of different strong colors. Pretty straightforward. I like that. We're gonna export it. Now what we can do, we have our different layers here. If you hit Shift Control Alt, if you've never tried that with the letter E, it'll make a render here of all the layers beneath it, which makes it easier for us to rotate this if we need to. So we can make this again vertical. There we go. That looks good. Anyway, you can play with that, get it lined up exactly how you want to. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so next up, I'll show you a landscape picture. So this is what I was playing with earlier. Just creating different renders there. I'll show you how to do this very easily. All right, so you have your original image. What we're gonna do here, I want the pixel effect to be behind the tower. So again, I'm gonna use my object select. It's gonna easily select the tower, hit Control J. So now we have our tower there. All right, so we're gonna transform and stretch this. Then we're gonna hit warp. Then just warp that like that. Take our next point also. We're gonna need to change the angle of the warping here. That looks good. Looks like it's coming out of the dome. I want a layer of that to then look like it's coming from behind the screen here. So I'm just gonna copy it, put it over here, off screen, stretch that. Warp it. I want it in front of the tower, so you'll notice I placed the layer in front of the tower here. Now, I transform. There we go, that looks better. Okay, back to warping. So I always think it looks kind of cool when it changes in size quite a bit. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Might have to change the scale of that. It's still a little too big. There you go. That looks kind of fun. Anyway, you get the gist of it there. You can get creative, play with it quite a bit. Here's another one. Again, with motion, I think it looks really good. I have this on I think is P52 Mustang airshow photo that I have. Lots of colors, great contrast between them. This is the Blue Angels show in Toronto. That was a lot of fun to edit. Here's an example of a landscape shot using this duck. If there's a object that really stands out, whether it's a car, person, or whatnot, in this case a big giant yellow duck in the middle of our harbor front, I think it really accentuates it by doing the pixel stretch. You can see I played around with a couple different ideas here. I really love when it kind of looks like it's 3D flying through the image. This is the shot I eventually went with, this looking like it's whipping through the air. You can add some other aspects. You can see here I added the CN Tower there, but yeah, even stuff like wildlife photos, just to add a little fun color stretch. The Baltimore Oriole here, harbor front with some flowers and skyline. Anyway, you can try lots of different things. It's a lot of fun to play with. Works great with colors. Pretty easy to do. 3 steps mainly. So let me know down below if you have any questions. If you thought this was interesting, I'll do more tutorials, so don't be shy to subscribe. And tag me in your photos. Curious to see what you come up with. See you in the next video.